Hello, my name is Lucky Mo, and we are going to finish Justice for All today. Alright, let's do this. Mr. Edgeworth, please re-establish connection with Mr. DeKiller. Right away, Your Honor. I won't let Matt go free. I'm not letting Matt go free. Has the verdict been reached? Before that, we would like to talk with you a little more. About? All you need from me was the name of my client. What else could you need me for? Well, actually, we would like to hear everything you know about this case. That is how things are. That is how things are usually done. What is he talking about? Usually done. But what shall we have to testify about now? Mr. DeKiller, if you don't mind, please testify about your client in more detail. You legal people and your procedures. Is it any wonder no one likes to go to court? About my client, part 2. As I have already stated quite a few times, Adrian Andrews is my client. However, one thing I simply cannot overlook is tampering with the scene of the crime. My client did it to frame another for the crime. While pretending to be the first person to discover the body and enter the scene, Adrian Andrews already knew from the very beginning that Juan Carita was dead. But even more appalling is the creation and planting of the knife and button. That act is what I was referring to when I said my client had broken the rules. This is the most unexpected turn of events for the, 5th time now? However, this time, everything has finally been revealed. Just a second, Your Honor. Yes, Mr. Edgeworth? We still have the cross-examination to do. But you don't need to question testimony like this. Do you, Mr. Wright? Oh, I do. Your Honor, the defense will question the witness. As if I have a choice here. Why? What this witness has said is nothing but beneficial to the defense's case. If you scrutinize the testimony, then I'll expose the lies in that oh so beneficial testimony, I suppose. I don't understand what's going on anymore. That makes 2 of us. I need to press this 3rd statement, I believe. As I have already stated quite a few times, Adrian Andrews is my client. However, one thing I simply cannot overlook is tampering with the scene of the crime. 3rd. Are you talking about the button and the knife? Yes, and my business card. Oh, this card. So that no one has to waste their time, including the police, I always make it a point to make things as easy as possible. You try to make things easy. My business card makes it very easy to identify who carried out the service. He's pretty devoted to his work. But to disregard everything to go and stab the deceased with a knife, and even hide my card from sight, that is something I cannot overlook. It's really hard to tell if he's being truthful or not without him being here. From the very beginning. That is correct. From before my client visited the room. All of my clients know precisely what the situation is at all times. I wonder if that's really true. That's odd. Okay. So you're saying most clients wouldn't do such a thing? That is correct. Usually, most people try to create an alibi for themselves. If you should use my services, Mr. Attorney, I would suggest you plan for your alibi too. No, I already told you I have no intention of using your services ever. Why does he keep looking at me like I'm the one on trial here? One, 2, 3. Witness, about requesting a hit. Yes. How much is your fee? I see you are also quite a dark-hearted man, Mr. Attorney. Huh? If you would like to talk business, we can do so after the trial. No, I'm not thinking of hiring... Mr. Wright. Yes? You want to kill me. You want me dead, don't you? Guilty, Mr. Phoenix Wright. You are hereby declared guilty. Let's continue. Why did you disclose your name to your client? They are your client, are they not? Oh god damn, that was funny. That goes without saying, Mr. the Killer. Okay, oh god damn it. Thank you so much for taking the time to testify, Mr. the Killer. What is the meaning of that attitude? When Adrian Andrews entered the victim's room, your client had no idea that Juan Carreta had been murdered. But how do you know that? From this wine glass, Your Honor. The wine glass? Mr. the Killer's supposed client thought Mr. Carreta had only fainted, which is why this glass of tomato juice was poured for the victim. But isn't that just a part of Adrian Andrews' calculated plan? That is not possible, Your Honor. This glass bears the fingerprints of that person. Had this been planned, they would have never left their fingerprints behind. I see your point. Mr. Edgeworth, what is your opinion? Strangely enough, I had the same exact thought just now. Great minds think alike. Witness, how do you explain this strange phenomenon? Isn't it a waste of time to ask about such a minor detail? It's not a very important point anyway, correct? I'm afraid you were mistaken. If Adrian Andrews really is your client, as you claim, then your client should have had knowledge of Mr. Carreta's death. If not, then that can only mean that Adrian Andrews was never your client at all. How strange. Yes? Why is it that the attorney has yet to raise an objection at this absurd situation? Phoenix, if the killer figures out what we're up to, we're in real trouble. Yeah, I know. Mr. Edgeworth, I'm surprised. You know you can't say things like that without any evidence. Ah, sorry. Well, that was an awfully weak objection for the two of you. I love them. Anyway, I am positive there was a contradiction in that testimony. The prosecution requests further testimony concerning when the request was taken. Very well. Right now, I have to buy us more time. While we wait for the items the killer left behind to get here. I just know that the very outcome of this trial lies with those items. Request taking. This request came to me, about a week ago. It was a request for my services on the night of the awards ceremony. We met at a certain bar to discuss and finalize a few matters. That is what occurred. I trust my memory and I believe I have made no mistakes. Okay. So you physically met your client, huh? That is correct. Meeting one's client is the first step to building trust, in my opinion. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please. Request taking. This request came to me, about a week ago. I'm going to press the third statement. So you physically met Adrian Andrews, right? Of course, I did. What was that? What was the brief pause? Witness, I would like for you to give us a few more details. I always meet my clients as a matter of principle. I have never taken a request by telephone or mail. And why is that? That's because I value the trust between client and myself above all else. And the only way to establish that is to speak to the client while looking them in the eye. Well, Mr. Wright, was the testimony just now of any importance? I don't think so. It was not. Why he meets his clients is not important, and that wasn't the point. Witness, please stop sidestepping my questions. What do you mean by that? My question was, did you really meet Adrian Andrews in person? I have already told you, Mr. Wright. I did. It was only through talking with him face-to-face that I began to trust him. Him? That's when I thought, I can trust this person as a client. It's true what they say about talking face-to-face. Well, Mr. Wright, was the testimony just now of any importance? It was very important. If I heard what I think I heard just now, then I think I've got him. Your Honor, I believe the testimony just now was of the utmost importance. Huh? Really? If that's the case, witness, please include the statement just now in your testimony. Very well. Oh, fuck. God damn it. No. Fuck. Fuck me. God damn it. I forgot which button got us to the fucking profiles. I would like to go over this one more time. You met Adrian Andrews at the bar and took the request at that time. Yes, that is correct. And that's when you thought he was trustworthy. How many times must I repeat myself? Yes, that is correct. I'm sorry, but that is an impossible tale. What? Shelley the Killer... You have never met the real Adrian Andrews. Why would you say that? Because you made one very big slip-up. About her. So what is the issue? What did you say just now? About her? If you'd ever met Adrian Andrews in person... one look would have told you that she is a woman. Ooh, shit! Alright, we're in the court. Mr. Wright, what is the meaning of this? This witness testified to the following. That he always meets face-to-face with his clients when taking their request. But he's never met Adrian Andrews in person. Yes, Your Honor, that is exactly the point. That means Mr. DeKiller's client could not have been Miss Adrian Andrews. Mr. Edgeworth, I understand your logic on this one. However, why would the assassin make such a basic mistake? I believe it has to do with her name, Your Honor. Her name? Yes, Adrian Andrews is without a doubt a very androgynous name. Yes, I see. Unluckily for Mr. DeKiller, the entire time he was on the stand, no one had stated Adrian Andrews' gender. And so he simply picked the wrong gender to go with. What? What is going on? Shelley DeKiller? This court demands an explanation. I think somehow I must have mixed up this client with another. Yes, that must be it. So does that mean you remember something different now? Yes, of course. Please, if you would allow me to testify once more. I know he's just gonna spit out more lies. Very well, but this time please give us the truth and nothing but the truth. Yes, now I remember. I took that request by mail. There have been times when I took a job without having to meet my client. The request was for the murder of Juan Carita and 2 or 3 other small things. When I saw the name at the end of the letter, I thought my client to be a man. Flimsy. So you took this job through a letter. He didn't mention anything about a letter in his earlier testimony, which means he is definitely lying. Be careful, Phoenix. If you break the assassin's testimony completely, it's over for us. I know I can't make him suspicious, but I think we're okay. Like, we can do this. As long as he's standing there across from me. No matter how strong of a punch I throw, he'll counter it. I love their friendship. Now then, let's begin the cross-examination. Yes, now I remember. I took that request by mail. There have been times when I took a job without having to meet my client. I'm gonna press this bitch. 2 or 3 other things. Yes. And what were these other things? A few other things that have nothing to do with this case. What should I do? Should I let him slide with that? It'd be really bad if I pushed his buttons the wrong way and he got mad. I'm gonna press further. Whether or not they're related to this case is for the court to decide. Mr. Attorney? Yes? Everything I have said from the beginning has been nothing but beneficial to your client. Which is why I wonder what is pushing you to continue with this cross-examination. Could it be that you were planning to betray your own client? That's... I smell the stench of a backstabber. And should you turn out to be one... Wait! Uh-oh, this is looking really bad. I shouldn't press my luck, alright? I shouldn't press my luck. Alright, I have to think. Is this worth pursuing? Yeah, press further. Witness, this is a very important matter. Please cooperate and tell us what these other jobs your client requested were. If it's truly that important, I suppose I don't have much of a choice. The bear figurine. The bear figurine. After the assassination of the target, I was to find that figurine. I was told that this job was just as important as the actual killing. And where was that figurine? It was inside Mr. Carita's suitcase. And then, what did you do next? I handed it over to my client right away. You gave it to your client. Interesting. This information certainly sounds important to me. Witness, please include what you just stated in your testimony. Alright. As you wish. Alright. I gotta present the figurine to this bitch. Shelley the Killer, if you had really given the bear to Miss Andrews, then this item should not have been incited. This item? I see where you're going. Yep, that's where I'm going. Where is everyone going? Do I need to pack a suitcase? Yeah, Your Honor, please think back to Miss Andrews' testimony. And I was going to burn it, for her sake. If even for a single minute, this bear had actually been in Miss Andrews' hands, I'm sure she would have taken the suicide note out and burned it. So that's where you two were going. So by the very fact that the suicide note was still inside the bear, it tells us that your client didn't know how to disassemble the puzzle. Which means... It means, Your Honor, that it is impossible for Adrian Andrews to be the client. Ooh. I'm digging my own grave. Order! 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 Mr. Phoenix Wright. I'm sure I mentioned this before. How I hate traitors above all else. I think your cross-examination has clearly demonstrated something to me. You must wish to break your end of our agreement. No, that's not. That's enough. If that is your intention, then there's only one thing for me to do. Wait, please! Gentlemen, ladies, please excuse me. I have a matter that I must attend to. No! Please, not that. Please wait. Mr. Attorney, bring this trial to a speedy end, and I may stay my hand. Otherwise... What in the... Mr. Wright? Are you? Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor? I didn't understand this witness's outburst just now. Do you think there is a need to hear more testimony, or is this enough? Well, we should... Edgeworth, we can't do this. If we keep this up, Maya, she'll... He knows. The prosecution... What has come over everyone? Even you are... The prosecution... rests. What is going on around here? The prosecution has no further questions, Your Honor. He knows that Maya's in trouble if we continue. What? Well, I never thought I'd see the day. This is a most unusual situation. If the prosecution rests with no further questions, then the prosecution has failed to uphold its stance. If that is the case, then even though I am reluctant, I must believe that Mr. DeKiller's testimony is accurate. That would mean that Shelley DeKiller's client is Adrian Andrews. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor? If I end the trial here, right now, then your client, Matt Ungard, would be declared innocent. And in his place, Adrian Andrews would be charged with murder. I can't accept that. Miss Andrews would be charged with murder. The prosecution has no further questions, so we will now hear the defense's final remarks. Bailiff, please bring the defendant Matt Ungard to the stand. The items from DeKiller's hideout didn't make it in time. We tried as hard as we could, but it looks like our time has run out. I can't believe it. The outcome now lies in your hands. Dude, did the old guy finally decide? To be honest, I can't think of you as a truly innocent and good person. You've done enough evil to drive a woman to suicide. But, at least on the charge of murder, it would appear you are innocent. I can't let it happen. So, I guess even the old fuddy-duddy figured me out. Mr. Ungard? What an atrocious lawyer I have, giving his own client up like this. And that refreshing like a spring breeze crap, it's just as atrocious, don't you agree? Anyway, get on with it and pronounce me innocent already. Right, Mr. Lawyer? Absolutely. Should I side with justice, or should I save Maya's life? I gotta side with justice, man. You better get on a guilty sentence, okay? But if I did that, Maya will die. But if I say he's innocent, then Miss Andrews will be charged as the murderer. Do I say he's guilty or not guilty? Either choice I make, someone's life is gonna end. God, dude. Hell yeah, I wanna go. Hell yeah, I'll come with you. It all hinges on what I choose. Now then, Mr. Wright, let's hear the defendant's final statements on this matter. Sorry, Maya. I can't let justice win. No, I gotta let justice win. If the person who hired the assassin was Adrian Andrews... then your client, Mr. Matt Ungard, is innocent. There's no need to ask, old man. After all, my lawyer is going to say what I want. Aren't you? Right? Sorry, Maya. I can't do this. But I have to decide something. I can't count on the evidence to help me anymore. I have to listen to my heart. My client, Matt Ungard, is... guilty. We are waiting for your answer, Mr. Wright. Matt Ungard, your client deserves an answer. He's guilty. Maya, I'm sorry. Mountain Guard is... Thank you, Franziska! Fuck yes! Franziska von Karma! She did it! Ah, you see now, don't you, Mr. Phoenix Wright? This is exactly why you should never take your eyes off that scruffy fool. Poor Gumshoe. Did you bring them? The final pieces? Do you have them? You should know better than to ask that, Mr. Miles Edgeworth. Von Karma is perfect in every way. The evidence is here in perfect condition. Don't worry about the Scruffy. He's fine, and his injuries are minor. All the items are inside this. What a filthy old coat this is. Hey, that's Gumshoe's. I can spot his tattered rags anywhere. I apologize for its ugliness, but there's nothing else to wrap the items in. She fucking did it. Your Honor, inside that filthy coat are the defense's final pieces of evidence. Your final evidence? This trial is already over. The trial is already over. All that remains is for me to hand down my verdict. I do not believe that any evidence presented now would change the outcome of this trial. Shit. What? Your Honor, it is our duty to examine every piece of evidence down to the last. I request that Miss Von Karma be allowed to present these pieces of evidence. I suppose you are right, Mr. Edgeworth. I grant permission to do so. However, this one obvious rule applies here. If these items do not bring up any new points, then they will not be accepted by this court. Now, Miss Von Karma, if you please. These pieces of evidence are items left by the killer during his escape from the police. He must have been in quite a rush. Yes, Your Honor. The killer left 3 pieces of evidence. Somewhere among the evidence we're about to see, there will be something that will turn this whole situation around, like a miracle. I'm sure of it. That is all we can hope for. The first item is a pistol. Does the killer's pistol have anything to do with this case? Question for more details. Does that pistol have any relation to this case? We have yet to perform a ballistics test, so I can't say anything for certain. However, I believe it has something to do with this case, at least with me. Right, the gun that shot her. That's the pistol that he used to shoot you, isn't it? That's what I believe, yes. Oh. I kept the bullet there removed from my shoulder as a sort of memento. How macabre. I'm sure it will be an excellent sample for the test. So that's the pistol that was used to shoot Franziska. It's probably not going to help us very much. The second piece of evidence is this videotape. I bet the killer took that from the on-guard mansion. Have you checked the contents of that tape? Unfortunately, there was no way. Okay. Oh, yeah. But I would speculate that this tape is very important. Why would you say that? Because he came back to his hideout for it. The killer went back for it? That's right. It looks like he was trying to recover it. He injured 3 of the officers on site. Yes. Yes, Bakugo. I know his name. But somehow it looks like they managed to protect it from the killer. Shelley the Killer is no ordinary man. It has evidence. It has evidence of him killing a man. The last piece of evidence is this bellboy's uniform. Is that a uniform of the Gatewater Hotel? Was that used during the crime? I am almost certain it was. There's even a pair of black leather gloves in one of the pockets. There's no doubt about it. The killer is wearing this on the night of the murder. There's one thing I found interesting about this uniform. And what is that? There's a button missing on this uniform. A button. It's a very unique button. I'm sure if we were to recover it, it would provide us with an interesting clue. Bellboy's uniform added to the court record. That's all I have to present, Your Honor. Okay. So there's the thing. So apparently there's a bad ending to this that I'm gonna look up a guide on how to get. Okay. Alright, I got this. It's just as I thought. And? Sorry guys, I'm typing in the thing. JFA trial 4 bad ending. Okay, brought me up to an entire guide. Down, 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 down. There we go. Creating a miracle. From here on, you are going to go through 2 different endings, a good ending and a bad ending. If you want to see both endings, it is highly recommended that you see the bad ending first. Here are the requirements for a bad ending. If you are at the part where you are when you are going to present someone something, present something other than Shelley the Killer's profile, the videotape. And also why Unguard wanted to blackmail you. The killer with the videotape, the judge will hand down his verdict. Okay. Let's do this. I'm sure... Know when you got him. Sorry, my friend's asking me if I want to go to FanX with her in September. I'm sure were we under normal circumstances, these items from Shelley the Killer's hideout would be very important clues. However, our question is not who did the killing. It is who the client. Yes, that is correct. And these 3 items do not tell us anything about that. Thank you for your hard work, Ms. Von Karma. You may step down now. Wait, Your Honor! Please allow me to examine this new evidence. Overruled. This court already has all the evidence it needs to hand down a verdict. Wonderful. Absolutely splendid. This judge is such a brilliant man, isn't he? This guy's a fuck. Is this the end? Phoenix? I knew it. There's no such thing as a miracle in this world, is there? I think you're wrong. I think they do exist. But you have to make that miracle happen. You've come this far. You can't give up now. But no matter how you think about it, it's try, for my sake. Just think about it for a second. I'm gonna save again, actually. I don't know where the fuck it's gonna be. Try, for my sake, just think about it for a second. There are two ways out of this situation for us. Two? The first... Make On Guard wish from the bottom of his soul for a guilty verdict. Huh? The killer will always place his client's wishes first. If On Guard himself wishes to be convicted, then he will let his hostage go. That may be true, but that's asking me to do the impossible. The second way... Force the killer to end his contract with On Guard. If the killer were to no longer think of On Guard as his client, then he would let Maya go. Mia, that's even more impossible. He is a man who values his duty towards his clients above all else. All else. I know both of these seem like impossible feats at first. But if you could make either one happen, it would truly be a miracle. The bigger problem is the judge has already said he doesn't need any more evidence. The pieces he was just shown, he's not accepting them. Phoenix, think things through from the other side. Isn't that what has always worked for us? Alright, I'm gonna save again. The other side, wait, does she mean... You mean to turn things around? Phoenix, the judge says he doesn't need the evidence. If that's the case, then who does need it? The person who needs the evidence. The defense, prosecution, and the judge. We have seen all the pieces of evidence, and that is how we have come to know the truth. But there is one person who has yet to see them all, and that person does not know the truth. That truth, and maybe what will bring about the miracle in the end. There are no objections at this time, correct? Now then, I will pronounce my verdict. Why don't we all respectfully sit back and listen, kids? Objection! Nope, fuck you, On Guard. I'm gonna get you a not guilty verdict, because I have already told you, Mr. Wright, this court does not need any more evidence. I'm not saying it is us that needs the evidence, Your Honor. Then you want to show the evidence to... that person? Yes, Your Honor. Please, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, for you to ask with such passion, I will grant you one chance. One chance. Okay, no, this is where I save. This is where I save. Please show your evidence to who you think is the right person. That's impossible. To turn this situation around in one try? One try. That is all I will permit. I have to try to remember everything that has happened up to this point. Think, Phoenix, think. There must be a way to save Maya while taking On Guard down at the same time. Now then, Mr. Wright, let's not waste any more time. Now here's where I'll save. Who would you like to show the evidence to? Okay, just choose someone. I just chose someone random. Choose random evidence. And just like that, the case came to an end. I ran away from the courtroom and wandered the streets alone. I never saw Maya again. The killer is a man of his word, so I'm sure he released her as promised. I heard the verdict of Miss Andrews' trial a few days later. She was found guilty, of course. The miracle never happened. Maybe it was never meant to. Because a miracle is something that doesn't exist. Aw. Okay, now we can do the right ending. Now then, Mr. Wright, let's not waste any more time. Who would you like to show the evidence to? Profiles? I see. And now, tell this court what one piece of evidence you would like to show this person. Well, what do you think, Mr. Edgeworth? Wait. Oh, okay, thank God. I think there's some merit in showing this evidence to that witness. Bailiff, please bring in the transceiver from earlier. Alright. It looks like I managed to convince him. Maya, she's okay, right? Didn't I tell you to concern yourself with bringing about a speedy end to this trial? Now, if I understand correctly, you wish to show me one piece of evidence? Yes, one is all I need. I have here a videotape. It was found at your hideout. I heard you injured 3 officers in your attempt to get this back. That was most regrettable. However, it was an order from my client. I was told to protect that videotape. I thought so. I'm afraid I seem to have failed in that regard. Do you know the contents of this tape? I was sternly told by my client not to not watch it. So I have absolutely no idea. Actually, you were on this tape. Me? There was a video camera hidden at the crime scene. Your actions were being recorded. What? Is that true, Mr. Wright? Who was that? Who was it that planted a camera? Well, the only person who could have planted a camera at the scene of the crime would be your client, naturally. That was Adrian Andrews. Nope. Be quiet and listen, Your Honor. Yes, sir. Your client specified a place and time for you, isn't that right? Yes. That was so they could film you. I had no idea. Mr. Wright, why would my client do such a thing? I would like to know why. Why did Matt Engard film the crime scene? The reason why he did that is my ticket out of this whole mess. There's only one reason here why your client would secretly film the crime scene. They wanted to blackmail you. Their client once told me something very interesting. We were talking about you, and this is what they said. But I'm no weakling. I don't believe anyone. Least of all, assassins. Oh, come now, Mr. Wright. Assassins aren't above blackmail. Yes, that's where the video comes in. With that, I can keep him at bay, and even blackmail him if I want. Your client didn't trust you at all. They were thinking of using this video to blackmail you. What do you have to say to that, Shelley the Killer? Ooh-hoo-hoo! Oh, he's pissed. It looks like I was being deceived from the very beginning. Yes, by a natural. That is the kind of person they are. Your client is a person who only thinks and plots of how to use the people around them, to protect themselves from any and all dangers that may arise. That is the true nature of your client. I have one question for the witness. Yes, you told us one thing numerous times during your testimony. You said that you detest traitors most of all. Yes, that's right. But what if that traitor was your own client? What would you do then? That's obvious. I would break our contract in that case. And then, that client would become my next target. For the honor of the killer name, even if it takes an eternity, I would follow that person to the ends of the earth to exact my punishment. I see. That's all I wanted to know. So the traitor becomes the killer's next target. Ah, I get it. This is how we'll turn this case around. Mr. Wright? Yes. My contract with my client is over as of now. I seem to have a new job on my hands. I will now return to you your precious item. What the? I'm not an item! Maya, I thought I'd never see you again. Oh, thank goodness. Aww. This trial appears to have come to its conclusion. However, I am sort of... I don't quite know what just happened there with the witness and the... Miss Von Karma, where did the... She always has you in her sights. Now, I do believe it's time to finally hand down a verdict. Sorry, bud. Mr. Ongard, looks like somehow you got what you wanted. You will finally receive the acquittal you wanted so badly. You should be happy. But before that, I would like to make one final statement. Sometime in the near future, one very betrayed assassin may appear before you. Needless to say, that man is very good at what he does. I'm sure you would understand what I mean if you watched this video. Help me? Now then, Your Honor, the verdict, if you please. Is this alright with you, Mr. Wright? I really don't care. He can be declared innocent, he can be declared guilty. All I know is Maya's safe and sound. Whether he's convicted or acquitted, there is no escape for him now. Go on, Phoenix. Plead whichever way your heart tells you. Right, Chief. I'll give him not guilty. Congratulations, Mr. Matt, on guard. Please make sure to savor every moment of what little time you have left. That's cold. Your Honor, as always, the defense pleads not guilty. Very well. This court finds the defendant, Matt Ungard. Please wait. What's the matter? If I get a not guilty, I'll be killed. I'm... No! Oh my god. He did that to himself. I'm guilty! Oh shit. God damn. Number 20. 20. As always, it looks like we have uncovered the real truth. We? I don't remember you helping out much in this. Mr. Edgeworth, how is Matt Ungard? I have left Miss Von Karma in charge of his incarceration. I'm sure he's getting a full course meal of whipped leather right about now. Very good. That was a close one, wasn't it, witness? Yes. I plan to pay my debt to the society for my own crime, Your Honor. The first time I was called to the witness stand during this trial, all I felt was despair. She must be talking about the time Edgeworth really went after her. I guess she's trying to forgive him for what he did. This witness, how should I put this? She has an illness. If you're going to say you would choose death, that is of no concern to me. But after that, when I was alone at the detention center, that's the first time I really saw myself for who I am. And today, when the two of you used your combined strength to convict Matt, I felt like I had finally been saved. Wow, this is the first time I've ever seen her smile. I am really happy that you two were in charge of this case. I really don't know how to express how I feel at this moment. This is the first time I felt comfortable with myself and with who I am. Thank you so much, everyone. Fuck. It looks like we have resolved everything at last. As for myself, there are still a few things I'm confused about, but everyone seems to be in good spirits, and that is good enough for me. That is all. This court is adjourned. Wow. March 23rd, 5:14 p.m. District Court Defendant Lobby number 3. You were great out there, Phoenix. What I did out there was right, wasn't it? This is the first time you've not gotten your client off. You got them a guilty verdict this time. Well, I tried to get him a not guilty, but you have to look past all of that to what's really important. You now realize that there is something more than just getting a not guilty, right? Yes, I understand now. Phoenix, think back for a second. Think to the moments before Miss Von Karma arrived with the final pieces of evidence. Think about the incredible decision you had to make. Now then, Mr. Wright, let's hear the defense's final statements on this matter. I can't count on the evidence to help me anymore. I have to listen to my heart. Should I side with justice, or should I save Maya's life? My client, Matt on guard, is... I said guilty. Is he guilty? Or is he not guilty? Those were your choices, then. And your answer spoke to what being a lawyer means to you. Right! Edgeworth, I have good news. Maya is now safe in police custody. Really? But Pearls, you're telling us the truth, right, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, she's quite safe. She's on her way here as we speak in a patrol car. She's so happy! Mystic Maya! Mystic Maya's safe! You did it! You really did it, Mr. Nick! Ow! She punches deceptively hard for a kid. I believed in you. I kept saying to myself, Mr. Nick will save her. Mr. Nick will save her. Thanks. Oh, what's wrong? Miss Von Karma. Hello, Franziska. About earlier? Thanks. Ow! Why are you still smiling, Mr. Phoenix, right? You lost! Your perfect win record has now been crushed. And yet, you're still happy? My guy was guilty. I don't think you'll ever understand, Miss Von Karma. How dare you? Don't worry. She may in time. After all, I was like that myself until a year ago. Edgeworth? For my own personal victories and for guilty verdicts, I used every dirty trick in the book, and so my win record remained spotless. But a man appeared and stood fast against that selfish me. I fought him in my usual manner and tasted my first defeat. I felt like I had lost everything because of that. And then it was my turn to sit in the defendant's chair. And I was saved by that person I called my enemy. I couldn't forgive myself for all that had happened, so I left the prosecutor's office. And I left that note. Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth chooses death. As well you should have. A prosecutor who has shamed himself with defeat should crawl into a hole and die. But that was not what happened. After I left the prosecutor's office, I finally came to realize something. And it was in that moment of clarity that everything began to change. What foolish nonsense. We prosecutors use anything we can to attack the defendant. But every time we did so, no matter how desperate the situation, instead of giving up like most people, that man would hold strong with his undying faith. And then, before I knew it, I began to trust in that man as well. What? You trusted your enemy? It doesn't matter how many underhanded tricks a person uses. The truth will always find a way to make itself known. The only thing we can do is to fight with the knowledge we hold and everything we have. Erasing the paradoxes one by one. It's never easy. We claw and scratch for every inch. But we will always, eventually, reach that one single truth. This, I promise you. The truth. Yes, that's the reason why prosecutors and defense attorneys exist. But I'm sure you knew that already, didn't you, Wright? That's why you couldn't forgive me, this man who went into hiding. Isn't that right? This man who only had his sights set on victory, who ran away into the night. Is Mr. Edgeworth right, Mr. Nick? Yeah. You really let me down. When you disappeared, I felt betrayed. The reason I decided to become a lawyer to begin with was because I believed in the things you said to me all those years ago. And you betrayed your own words. That's why 1 year ago, I made up my mind. I decided that the Miles Edgeworth I knew had died. At least, that's what I told myself. You pathetic fool! Miss Von Karma? I don't want to hear the wretched whimpering of a disgraced loser. You lost plenty of times too, bitch! Von Karma is someone who is destined to be perfect. Miles Edgeworth, you are no longer worthy. You are no longer worthy of being a Von Karma. And neither am I. It's over. It's all over. Franziska threw something on the ground just now. This is an electromagnetic receiver. Isn't that the thing she used to track Detective Gumshoe? I'll return this to the precinct later. There's something else. Ah! Isn't that Miss Von Karma's whip? I'll never set foot in another courtroom again. I'm sure that's what she's saying by this action. You should keep this, right? Okay. Nick! Maya! Maya! Mystic Maya! Oh, Nick, I knew you would come through. You got on guard convicted, like I knew you would. And on top of that, you even rescued me. Well, of course. You know I would never desert you. But we sure pressed our luck this trial. You're really lucky to be standing here. Whatever. Look, it's over, okay? Besides, if I did croak, I would just come back and haunt you like a bad ghost through Pearly. Is it really that easy to do something like that? Thanks a lot, Nick. Don't mention it. Maya. Oh, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm relieved you're alright. Hey, it looks like you've made some real progress, Mr. Edgeworth. Well, I suppose I'm a little different from who I was a year ago.